8 signs your engine is misfiring and what usually causes it. Your engine is running, but it does not feel right. It shakes, it stumbles, it loses smooth power, and sometimes it feels like the engine skips for a moment, then catches again. That is what a misfire often feels like, and even if it only happens once in a while, you should not ignore it, because a misfire is not just a small annoyance. It is a sign that combustion is not happening correctly in one or more cylinders. And when combustion goes wrong, performance drops, fuel gets wasted, emissions go up, and if you keep driving too long, the damage can get much more expensive. In this video, I'll show you 8 signs your engine is misfiring, and I'll also explain what usually causes it, so you know what to check first. Let's get into it. Sign number 1, rough idle. This is one of the most common signs. When an engine misfires, one cylinder is not contributing power the way it should. At idle, that imbalance becomes very noticeable. The engine may shake, the RPM may move slightly up and down, the steering wheel may vibrate, and the whole car may feel uneven while sitting still. Sometimes it feels like the engine is trying to smooth itself out, but never fully does. That rough idle is often the first clear warning that something in combustion is off. Sign number 2, loss of power during acceleration. A healthy engine should respond smoothly when you press the gas pedal, but when one cylinder misfires, the engine cannot make full power consistently, so the car may feel weak, sluggish, or delayed. Sometimes it pulls, then falls flat. Sometimes it feels like the engine is holding back. This is especially noticeable under load because acceleration demands more from the ignition, fuel, and air systems, and when one part of that system is weak, misfire becomes easier to feel. Sign number 3, engine hesitation or jerking. This is closely related to power loss, but it feels more uneven. Instead of just feeling weak, the engine may stumble, jerk, or shudder. You press the gas, expecting a smooth increase in power, but instead, the engine responds in broken steps. This happens because the misfiring cylinder is not burning fuel properly every time, so power delivery becomes inconsistent. And that inconsistency is what you feel as hesitation or jerking. Sign number 4, check engine light. This is one of the most common warning signs. Modern cars monitor combustion very closely. If the system detects irregular firing, it often turns on the check engine light. Sometimes the light stays steady, sometimes it flashes, and that difference matters. A steady light means there is a fault that needs attention. A flashing light usually means the misfire is severe enough to risk damaging the catalytic converter. So if the check engine light appears together with rough running, shaking, or hesitation, a misfire should be high on your suspect list. Sign number 5, poor fuel economy. When a cylinder misfires, fuel is not being burned efficiently. That means part of that fuel is wasted. And when fuel is wasted, your mileage drops. You may notice more frequent trips to the gas station, or you may simply feel like the car is using more fuel than it should. At first, the change may be small, but over time it becomes more obvious. This is one of the quieter symptoms because it does not always feel dramatic, but it still points to a real combustion problem. Sign number 6, fuel smell or popping and backfire. If combustion does not happen properly inside the cylinder, unburned fuel can pass into the exhaust. And when that happens, you may notice a strong fuel smell. Sometimes you may also hear popping, crackling, or backfire from the exhaust. That is not normal. It means fuel is ending up where it should not. And when unburned fuel reaches the exhaust system, it can create extra heat and eventually damage the catalytic converter. This is one of the signs that should never be ignored for long. Sign number 7, hard starting. A misfire problem does not always wait until the engine is running. Sometimes it shows up during starting too. If spark is weak, fuel delivery is off, or compression is poor, the engine may crank longer than usual before it starts. Sometimes it starts roughly, sometimes it almost catches then struggles. This is because starting the engine depends on clean, well-timed combustion from the beginning. If that process is unstable, starting becomes harder. Sign number 8, engine stalling. This is one of the more serious signs. If the misfire becomes severe enough, the engine may not be able to keep itself running smoothly. At idle, that may lead to stalling. In worse cases, it may even happen while driving slowly. This turns the problem from a drivability issue into a reliability issue, because now the car is not just running badly. It is at risk of shutting off completely. Now let's talk about what usually causes a misfire. One of the most common causes is worn spark plugs. If the plugs are old, dirty, or damaged, they may not ignite the mixture properly. Another very common cause is a weak ignition coil. Even a good spark plug cannot do its job if the coil is not supplying enough voltage. Fuel problems can also cause misfire. A clogged injector, weak fuel pressure, or poor fuel delivery can leave one cylinder without the fuel it needs. Air problems matter too. A vacuum leak, a dirty mass airflow sensor, or bad air fuel calculations can all upset combustion. And then there are mechanical causes. Low compression, valve problems, or internal engine wear can also create a misfire that no sensor or tune-up part can fix. That is why diagnosis matters, because a misfire is a symptom, not a single part failure. So what should you check first? Start with the basics. Ask yourself, does the engine shake at idle? Does it get worse under acceleration? Is there a check engine light? Is the light steady or flashing? Do you smell fuel? Has fuel economy changed? Those clues help narrow the problem down. In many cases, the first things worth checking are spark plugs, ignition coils, fuel injector condition, and any stored trouble codes, because those are some of the most common causes. So let's quickly recap. Signs of an engine misfire include rough idle, loss of power, hesitation, jerking, a check engine light, poor fuel economy, fuel smell or backfire, hard starting, and even stalling. And the most common causes usually involve spark, fuel, air-fuel balance, or internal engine condition. That is why a misfire should never be ignored, because even if the car still drives, the problem rarely stays small for long. And now I want to hear from you. What was the first sign your engine gave you? Rough idle, power loss, a check engine light, backfire, or hard starting? Comment below with the exact symptom you noticed first. And if enough people mention the same issue, I'll make the next video on that exact problem.